Today we're going to talk about more proportions, but we're going to be dealing with scales and scale factors. Okay? What that means is in your history book, sometimes you have a map that has a little measurement tool at the bottom.
Oh yeah. There's a line like this, and then there's a line like that.
Yep. So there's it's called a scale. That's a scale in your history book. We're going to talk about how to compare that to real life using scales and scale factors, okay? So we're going to be thinking about those types of things. We're going to be comparing models to actual real life things, okay? So looking at this example here, it says, suppose a model of a dragonfly has a wing length of 4 centimeters. So the model has a length of 4 centimeters. The actual length is 6 centimeters. We want to know the scale. So we want to do model over actual. It's always going to be model over actual. So model is, the length of the model is what? 4. The length of the actual is 6. So that's my proportion on one side. To find the actual length, the model, we're going to have 1, always. 1 over, we don't know the actual, so it's going to be x. Okay.
So we basically just write it how it is and then put an x where the centimeters are.
Yep. So now we want to do what? How do we solve this? Cross multiply. So we have 4 times x, which is 4x, and then 6 divided by 1, which is 6.
You have to divide by 4.
Now we divide by 4. You get x equals 1.5, or I would accept 3 over 2 if you left it as a fraction. Okay? So that's finding the scale of something, okay? You're going to find out that scale and scale factor are not the same thing. So what this is saying is the actual model is 1.5 times the size as the model. Okay? That's what this is saying when you find the scale. Let's do one together. We have a model car is 4 inches long. The actual car is 12 feet long. What is the scale of the model? So we want model over actual. What's the model?
4 inches.
4. What's the actual?
12 feet.
12. Okay. Equals, what do I put on the top for the model? 1 for the model over x. Because the size of the model, it's just 1. Okay, and then we don't know the actual size, we have to put x there. Okay, how would I solve?
4x and 12.
Cross multiply. 4 times x, which is 4x. And then 12 times 1, which is 12. Last step would be to divide by 4. We have x equals 3. What does that tell me? X equals 3. What does that tell me?
The model is 3 inches.
That's 3 feet long.
The actual is 3 times as long as the model. Okay? A model can be a blueprint of something. It can be a statue of something else. It can be a map. It can be a map. Okay? Distance, anything. Okay? Questions on finding the scale. Okay, so your scale is always going to be your ratio equal to 1 over x. Okay? Now talk about scale factors. Okay? It says the blueprint, is that the actual thing or is that the model? Model. The model of a skateboard ramp shows that the length is 11.4 inches. The scale on the blueprint, so it already gives us a scale, is 1 inch equals to 6 feet. We want to know what the actual length is. Okay? So we're going to use this scale, the scale that they already give us, which is 1 over 6. So 1 over 6, and then equals, we want model over actual. What was the model length? 11.4. Do we know the actual? No, so we put x there. Okay? How do we solve this to find the actual length? Cross multiply. So we have 1 times x, which is x, and then we have 11.4 times 6, which is 68.4. Okay? Hang on, I'm not done. That is the actual length. Now, separately, it wants us to find the scale factor. What?
Why do we have to use that?
You can use any variable that you want.
Like use k?
Yep.
D?
Yep.
D.
Okay, looking here, that gives us the actual size. We want to find the scale factor. To find the scale factor, you're going to use the scale, which we had before. We're going to have 1 inch over 6 feet. That's our scale. We want to find the scale factor. Scale factor is we're going to convert to get the same variables, or the same labels. Okay? Which one can we change into which? Inches into feet or feet into inches? Feet into inches, because how many inches are in a foot? 12. So how do we figure out how many inches are in 6 foot? 12 times 6, which is 72 inches. So some people were getting this confused last hour. 1 inch, if we're changing it to inches, I'm scared. Okay, let's finish this example. We have 1 inch over 6 feet. We want to get it to the same thing. So, if we're staying in inches, we're going to keep our variable the same. We're going to keep the top since we're staying in inches. 1 inch, and then on the bottom, we switched it to 72 inches. So this scale factor is the same thing as the scale. It's just written in the correct form. Okay, which means having the same labels. Okay? So scale factor is we're converting. Okay? Yeah? So this is saying 1 inch over 72 inches.
So could I just...
So the model has 1 inch, the actual has 72 inches. Okay, that's why it's such a big difference. Okay? Questions before I have you try one? Okay, go ahead and try this one. Find the actual size first. And then you don't need to do the scale factor. Just find the actual size. So it says the map has a scale of 1 inch equals 8 miles. 2 towns are 3.25 inches apart on the map. We want to find the actual distance. So what do we do with this 1 inch equals 8 miles? Put it in a ratio, 1 over 8. Okay, equals, now it says on the map, the towns are 3.25 inches apart. Does that go on the top or on the bottom? Model goes on the top. Model goes on the top, which is our map in this case. We want to find the actual size. What do I put on the bottom? X, because we don't know, right? Now we want to solve. How do I solve?
8 times 3.25.
Okay. I'm going to take 1 times x first, and then I get x, and then we get 8 times 3.25, which we get
21.8.
26.
That's what I have.
Okay. That is the size of the actual map. Okay.
Oh, yeah. There's 1 times x.
Now, I'm going to change this a little bit.
Yes.
Okay. Instead of 1 inch, I'm going to change this to feet. Now we're going to find the scale factor. Okay, so scale factor, I have 1 foot over 8 miles. We want them to have the same label. Do I change feet to miles or do I change miles to feet?
Feet to miles. Miles to... No, feet to miles.
We want to change miles to feet, right? We want to change miles to feet. How many feet are in 1 mile?
5,280.
5,280 feet. So we're keeping feet, so we have keep the top as 1 foot. What do I do with the 8 miles? Multiply it by 5,280 feet. So 5,280 feet times 8 gives us 42,240 feet. So the model has 1 foot. The actual size is 42,240 feet. Okay, these are all showing us the difference between the models and the actual size. Any questions on scale factors and scales?
Miles and feet.
Okay.